Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. I feel very nervous sitting here when I see so many wonderful Vaishnavas traveling from different parts of the country and other countries as well who have assembled here. I offer my obeisances to all the senior disciples of Srila Prabhupada who are present here. Thank you for being here. It motivates us. It blesses and protects us when we see that you've spent 5 decades chanting Hare Krishna and you're still here chanting the same mantra with more and more spirit and love for your Guru Maharaj. It's a lot of faith and a lot of inspiration for the present generation. Maybe for them. My heartfelt gratitude to the management of the temple for kindly including me in such a wonderful retreat. My heartfelt gratitude to His Holiness Bir Krishna Maharaj for giving a community for the last 40 years. In fact, this year Radha Golokananda are celebrating 4 decades here. If Maharaj wouldn't have come here back in the days and had a vision, had a mission, had a sweet mood of having loving cottage for Radha Golokananda in the woods here, this wouldn't have manifested. So to Shri Radha Golokananda, to Maharaj, to our temple president, Mother Leela Shakti, for inspiring us and being such a wonderful example. And what to speak of the one and only Aditya Narayan Prabhu. And to all the wonderful Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis who are supporting Prabhuji and are non-different. They are working as his brain, as his hands, his eyes, ears, nose. So a big Hari Bol to all the Vaishnavas. That was my next point. To all the Matajis who are involved in this retreat, who are involved in this community, headed by such wonderful Vaishnavi leaderships, where Mother Ratna Radhika, alongside His Grace Aditya Narayan Prabhu, they're leading from the front and inspiring everyone. My heartfelt thanks, appreciation, gratitude to all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis flying in from different parts of the world. I can't believe there are devotees flying in from Dubai. I can imagine there are devotees flying in from the West Coast. There are devotees coming in from Seattle. There are devotees coming in from Portland. There are devotees coming in from ISV. There are devotees coming all over the place. Devotees coming from Columbus. Devotees driving from Cincinnati. Or should I say Kentucky? Devotees coming in from Richmond. Devotees coming from Dallas. Devotees coming in from Govardhan Eco Village. I see devotees coming in from Austin, devotees from all over the place, everywhere. I heard devotees coming from Canada. Children, male, female, Prabhupada disciples, grihasthas, brahmacharis. Such a wonderful sight. I am starting off by expressing gratitude because this is secondary. This is secondary. Here I will make so many mistakes. Here I will fumble and crawl at every step. But here I wanted to express with all my heart. When I see so many devotees, I feel very protected. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making Rasa-Cintāmaṇi Rasik. My obeisances to each one of you once again. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha. Please bless me. Please pray for me. May the right words come at the right time, in the right mood of glorifying Krishna, purifying our hearts and serving Srimad Bhagavatam. Please make me feel sheltered and protected by your best wishes, prayers and blessings. So this year, I am very happy to be in the assembly of so many Vaishnavas alongside my best friend, His Grace Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. It's my audacity I am saying friend. Actually, he is so much more superior to me in all parameters of understanding. From his age, from his contribution to the movement, from the time he joined, from the time he got initiated, the books he has written. Let's not even talk about the books. It's every home you go, you'll find Subodhini. Every home you'll go, you'll find the Bhagavatam tales. He has touched the class and the mass at the same time with his writings. When I met His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, I had about 1 minute to speak to Maharaj. And I was thinking, what is that one sentence I will try to articulate in that 1 minute? And I folded my palms and I said, Maharaj, thank you for manifesting Govardhan Eco Village. Thank you for manifesting Radha Vrindavan Bihari. Thank you for manifesting the Vrindavan Forest. Thank you for manifesting the Vidyapit. And thank you for giving us Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. In a generation where we have either speakers going to the very exalted topics prematurely, or going towards bridge preaching, college outreach, motivational talks, we have two extremes. The purpose is the same, but two extremes. In that generation, to have a Vaishnav of Gauranga Darshan Prabhu's caliber and contribution, where he is cent percent loyal to Srila Prabhupada's contributions, Srila Prabhupada's books, he is teaching us how to learn with the connections between the verses, connection between sections, connection between chapters, connection between cantos, bringing us closer to Srila Prabhupada. So I'm very, very grateful. In fact, I love to hear his classes. So I'm very, very happy to be here. Thank you. So this year, for the pleasure of the Vaishnavas and for the purification of the heart, we will be studying from the 16th chapter of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the celebrated pastime of subduing of Kāliya, or the dance of divinity. Let's begin. Shri Shuka Uvacha Vilokya Dushitam Krishnam Krishna Krishna Hina Vibhuvo Tasya Vishuddhiman Vichan Sarpam Tam Udavasayat. Sri Shukdeva Goswami begins this chapter. It's a very beautiful verse. In one verse, he has given an overview, a quick summary overview of the whole pastime. Vilokya Dushitam Krishnam Krishna Hina Vibhuhu. We can see three Krishnas there. Although there's one Krishna, but in the verse you can see three Krishnas. The first Krishna in the feminine usage is Yamuna Devi, Kalindi. So Vilokya, Alokya, Vilokya, Krishna saw. Krishna saw with so much emotion because his dear devotee Kalindi or Yamuna was Dushitam, was polluted. Vilokya Dushitam Krishnam, seeing Yamuna Devi polluted, Krishna. Now this Krishna refers to Bhagavan, our Krishna, Brajendra Nandan. And the word Vibhuhu is the adjective for that Krishna. The all-cognizant, omniscient, omnipotent Lord, Vibhu. Sarvavyapi Maheshwaraha. Sri Krishna, in the male usage, is signified by the word Krishnaha. So Krishna is Yamuna. Krishna is our Krishna. And Krishna Ahi. Ahi means snake, and Krishna is an adjective, the dark complexioned snake. Sripad Sanatan Goswami Pad, in his Brihad Vaishnav Toshni, he says, these three words may sound the same, but they are all three Krishnas for three different reasons. Why is Yamuna Krishna? Because she is dark complexioned. And she's dark complexioned because of her absorption in Krishna. Like we know the pastime of Uddhava. Vrishninam pravaro mantri, Krishnasya daita sakha, shishyo brihaspate sakshad Uddhavo buddhisattama. Krishna's dear friend Uddhav, it is described, he was his best friend, he was his cousin, he was his pure devotee. And he was so absorbed in Krishna right from childhood that his complexion became bluish black, rain-filled monsoon cloud-like. Just remembering Krishna. And Yamuna Devi, she remembers Krishna continuously, constantly. And therefore she has become dark complexioned because of remembering Krishna. And therefore she is Krishna. The word Krishna can also refer to Draupadi Devi. But the context here is Yamuna. Then why is the serpent considered to be dark complexioned? Well, he's dark complexioned, but why is the serpent here, the word Krishna Ahi used? There it is not because of his absorption in Krishna. The serpent here is dark because of his envious, poisonous, venomous, wicked, demoniac nature. He has become completely ugly, frothing with anger, and spitting flames of fire through his eyes. That is Krishna Ahi. So Yamuna is dark because of her absorption in Krishna. The serpent is dark because of his poison presence. And why is Krishna called Krishna? Sripad Sanatan Goswami Pad writes, Karshati sarva dukkhani. Karshati means he takes away. Sarva dukkhani. Because Krishna, you see in Sanskrit, Krish dhatu also means to plow. Therefore, a farmer who uses a plow is called Krishi Balaha. because he uses a krishi, he uses a plow. Therefore, krishi goraksha vanijyam, Gita. So Krishna uses a plow. He uses the plow of mercy and pulls all the dukkhas away from the heart of the field of the heart of the devotee. And therefore he is Krishna. Sripad Jiva Goswami Pad has written many meanings to the word Krishna. He says Krishna means that Lord who attracted all the rivers to his lotus feet when he was forming Shamakund. Krishna used his heel and kicked and caused Ganga, Yamuna, Chaiva, Godavari, Saraswati, Narmada, Sindhu, Kaveri, Jalesmin, Sannidim Kuru. Which is that Jale Asmin? Shamakund. We say for Achaman and we say for purification. But Krishna chanted that. He made a little dent using his lotus feet. And he said, "O all rivers of this world, O sacred celestial rivers, please fill this pond." And because Krishna did not have to go to the rivers, he attracted the rivers to his lotus feet. Therefore, he is so attractive, Sri Jiva Goswami Pad says, therefore he is Krishna. Another meaning Sri Jiva Goswami Pad gives, why Krishna is called Krishna. He says, Karshati Swiya Lavanya, Murali Kala Kujitai, Shri Radha Mohana Guna Lankrita Krishna Iryate. Sri Jiva Goswami Pad writes, he is so attractive. Swiya Lavanya, his bodily beauty is so mesmerizing. Asama Urdhva Madhurya, Tarangamrita Varidhi, Sthavara Jangamollasi, Rupo Gopendra Nandanaha. Rupa Goswami Pad. That Krishna is so attractive. He doesn't need any weapons to attract or defeat anyone. जहां न काम चलता था तीरों और कमानों से, वहां विजय होती थी नटवर की केवल मुरली के तानों से. Ramachandra needs bows and arrows. Vishnu uses his Sudarshan Chakra. Our Brajendra Nandan, Mor Mukutdhari, Radharaman, Tribhanga Lalit, Shyamasundar. He doesn't need any weapons. Why? Because his body is his weapon. His smile is his weapon. His glancing is his weapon. And now when he puts his flute to his lips and fills those holes, Randran Venu Adhara Sudhaya Apurayan. Shukdev Goswami doesn't say Krishna plays the flute. He says Krishna fills the holes of the flute with the nectar of his lips. It's one thing to say the flute player plays on the flute. Okay, that's great. But Krishna doesn't play the flute. He places the flute to his crimson red bimba fruit-like soft lips. And as soon as he places the flute to his lips, the lips get ecstatic. Because now they can serve the flute. And the flute get ecstatic because now they're resting on the lips. Both are ecstatic, and that is the flute sound. Krishna remembers the devotees, and from his heart, devotion, the love for his devotees rises through his lips and fills the holes of the flute, and that is the Venu Madhuri. Sri Jiva Goswami Pad says, Karshati Swiya Lavanya, through his Lavanya, and Murali Kala Kujitai, and through the playing of the flute, Sri Radha Mohana Guna Lankrita Krishna Iryate. Krishna, who is so powerful, he can attract the mind of Srimati Radharani, who is the queen of Vrindavan. Oh, he must be the greatest magnet, and therefore he is called Sarvam Akarshati Iti Krishna. So that Sri Krishna, all attractive Lord, Karshati Sarva Dukkhani, who's eager to take away the sins and the suffering in the life of the devotees. Na Vasudeva Bhaktanam Ashubham Vidyate Kvachit. Vishnu Sahasranam. Vasudeva Bhaktanam Ashubham na Vidyate. There is nothing inauspicious in the life of the devotees. Why? Because Krishna, he is eager. We are eager to commit mistakes and take reactions, and Krishna is working faster in clearing those reactions. So, Vilokya Dushitam Krishnam Krishna Ahina Vibhuhu. The dark serpent full of poison, the dark river full of ecstasy for Krishna, and the dark Lord who is all attractive. All three are working together in the same pond, in the same lake. Wow. Shukdev Goswami could have said this by using one Krishna. He could have just said, the Lord jumped into the river. He could have said Nadi. He could have just said Vibhu. And still the meaning would be complete. But Shukdev Goswami himself is so attached to the chanting of the name of Krishna. Somebody who likes to chant the name of Krishna and you tell him only one Krishna, he can't stop. Sudha Sudhara Madhuram Pade Pade. Sri Rup Goswami Pad wants Tunde Tandivini Ratim Vitanute Tundavali Labdhaye. He wants millions and millions of tongues to chant the name of Krishna. The name of Krishna is so wonderful. Shukdev Goswami could have said the whole verse without using 3 Krishnas, but he wants to use 3 Krishnas. In fact, he wants to use 8 Krishnas. Krishna, 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 He. Nirasana Vishayeya Krishna, Krishna iti vani. Kulashekar Alvar. If the name Krishna is on the tongue, Krishna, Krishneti, Krishneti, Krishneti cha punah punaha, Prahlad Maharaj. In the Puranas, Prahlad Maharaj is saying, if the name Krishna is dancing on somebody's tongue, what worry is there? Why do you worry? Swami Nanu Sridharaha. Kulashekar Alvar. Don't you have confidence that your master is on your side? When he's there maintaining the whole world, Dasasya kim na kshamaha. Why won't he do it for his own devotee who's chanting Krishna's name? Shukdev Goswami loves the name of Krishna. Parikshit Maharaj loves the name of Krishna. In fact, in Krishna Sandarbha, Sri Jiv Goswami Pad has a whole analytical study of how Shukdev Goswami and how Parikshit Maharaj both love the name Krishna. Ambarish Maharaj, Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vindayo. Pastime took place in Satya Yuga. Krishna avatar had not taken place. Shukdev Goswami could have said, Savai Mana Vishnu Padara Vindayo. The meter would be the same. But no. The name Krishna. Sahasranam Nam Punyanam Triya Vrutyatu Yaphalam. The benefit of chanting Vishnu Sahasranam is obtained by chanting one Ram Nam. And the benefit of chanting 3 Ram Nam is obtained by chanting 1 Krishna Nam. That Krishna Nam is there in our life, which Shukdev Goswami is chanting 3 times. So, Vilokya Dushitam Krishnam Krishna Krishna Hina Vibhu Tasya Vishuddhim Anvichan Sarpam Tam Udavasayat. Tasya Vishuddhim Anvichan. Krishna desired the Vishuddhi, the purification of this river. You see, when environmentalists speak of protecting Mother Earth, they speak about save Ganga, save Yamuna. And when they have campaigns, one of the most commonly and only quoted verse from the Bhagavatam is this, where they say, even when God comes in this world, he thinks of saving Yamuna. Tasya Vishuddhim Anvichan. Krishna desired to clean Yamuna completely. Could have been said Shuddhim, clean, but Vishuddhim, Visheshena Shuddhihi, which means Krishna wanted to purify Yamuna and also frolic in her waves. And thinking this, Sarpam Tam Udavasayat, Krishna banished the serpent, Kāliya, out. This was the pastime. And now Shukdev Goswami was ready to start another pastime. But Parikshit Maharaj said, wait. Which serpent? How did the serpent come there? Why would he stay there? How did he stay for so long? Bahu Yugavasam. How did Krishna tolerate? How did Krishna oust him, banish him, exile him? And how was Yamuna after the serpent left? Please tell me everything in detail. Now it's quite interesting. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, Shukdev Goswami wanted to say the whole pastime in one verse because Parikshit Maharaj did not have time. Because when the 10th canto, this section is going on, so you can imagine 5th or 6th day out of 7 days. Shukdev Goswami has the greed to say so many more pastimes. So very quickly he did a one verse overview. But Parikshit Maharaj, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, he wanted to pause and hear the details because love is in the details. And it's quite interesting. Parikshit Maharaj says, Vipra Kathyatam in the second verse. Of course, we won't have time to do like how Parikshit Maharaj is requesting in Rasa-Cintāmaṇi. I have to do like how Shukdev Goswami did. Parikshit Maharaj says, Vipra, O Brahmana, and an invocation or an address to Shukdev Goswami. Kathyatam, please speak. But Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur takes the words together. And he says, instead of Vipra Kathyatam, O Brahmana, please speak, Visheshena Prakarshena Kathyatam. Visheshena, in great detail. Prakarshena, in great depth. Without losing the essence, Kathyatam. So Vipra means Brahmana. But when you put it as a prefix to the word Kathyatam, it means Vishesha, special, Prakrishta, in great detail, Kathyatam. Please don't miss any detail. I want the who, the why, the how, the when, the where, everything, please. I want to hear. Shukdev Goswami in his heart, again Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti. Shukdev Goswami in his heart, he's feeling, I cannot tell you the details of Maharaj Parikshit because the Brajbasis go through so much pain in this pastime. When they see Krishna coiled, embraced, wrapped up in the coils of the poisonous serpent Kāliya, the Brajbasis were weeping for hours. Oh Parikshit Maharaj, I cannot tell you this pastime in detail. But Parikshit Maharaj in his heart is thinking, we anyway have so many sad stories of this world. It takes a thorn to uproot a thorn. Instead of talking of the distress that we have, let's uproot that distress by talking of the distress that the Brajbasis had. Therefore, Gopala Udara Charitam Kastripyeta Amritam Jushan. O Maharaj Parikshit, O Shukadev Goswami, Gopala Udara Charitam. Please speak about this magnanimous pastime of Gopal. Our Acharyas have given many wonderful angles to this one sentence. The main meaning is Gopala is Krishna, Udara, magnanimous, Charitam, pastimes. Please speak of this magnanimous pastime. Why is this pastime magnanimous? Because here you see, Krishna takes sides with everyone. Since we are aware of the pastime, I will just skip some details and come to some details. You see, Shaubhari Muni, he took sides with the fish and went against Garuda. But Sri Krishna did not do that. He took sides with the boys. He took sides with the boys and he revived them from the water. Then took sides with the water and banished the snake. Then took sides with the snake by imprinting his lotus feet on the head and removed the fear that the snake had from Garuda. So in this way, Udara Charitam, O Shukadev Goswami, please tell me the pastime where Krishna is so magnanimous and he takes sides with everyone. Suridam Sarva Bhutanam Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Riddesha Arjuna Tishtati Aham Atma Gudakesha Sarva Bhutashaya Sthitaha Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suridam Sarva Bhutanam. Krishna will always add the word Sarva to show how he is in the side of everyone. How wonderful. Another Acharya comments, Gopala Udara Charitam. The word Gopal means Krishna. So Parikshit Maharaj is not saying the pastimes of Gopal. Parikshit Maharaj is saying, Oh Gopal! Shukdev Goswami, continue. So in the middle of hearing, he's calling out to Gopal out of his ecstasy. Or the word Gopal is an address to Shukadev Goswami. Why? Because the word Go also means Vani, speech. And Pala means Pati, the Lord. So Gopal, which is the name for Krishna, it's also the name for Shukadev Goswami because he's Vakpati. Hey Vakpati, O Lord of speech, Shukadev Goswami, Udara Charitam Viprakatyatam. Please describe the pastimes in great detail. How wonderful. Krishna is called Gopal. This is a very beautiful name of Krishna. Nanda Yashoda Dulal Girivaradhari Gopal Jaya Nanda Yashoda Dulal Girivaradhari Gopal. Gopal, 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 Gopal. Gopal, 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 Gopal. Jaya Nanda Yashoda Dulal Girivaradhari Gopal. Gopal Yashoda Nandan Bal Gopal ki. So this word Gopal has many meanings. Because in Sanskrit the word go has many meanings. Prati shloke, prati akkhare, nana arthe koi, every syllable. So go means gopas and pal means protect. So in this Leela, did Krishna protect the gopas? Yes, he did. So he's Gopal. Okay. Go also means cows. Did Krishna save the cows in this pastime? Yes. So he's also Gopal. From that angle of vision, Gopala Udara Charitam. Go also means waves. So did he jump into the Yamuna and save and protect and purify the waves of Yamuna? Yes. So he's also Gopal from that angle. Go also means Gokul, which means the family of cows, the whole family of Vrindavan. When Krishna was coiled up by Kāliya, and then when he escaped out from there and won over Kāliya, did he protect the lives of the Brajbasis living in Gokul? Yes. So he's Gopal again. The word go also means senses. By hearing this Leela, he protects our senses from going astray. How wonderful. Go also means Goswamis. All the Tikakar, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, Sripad Sanatan Goswami, Sri Jeev Goswami, they're all Goswamis. Their life, their heart, their feelings, their emotions are nourished by commenting on this Leela. So he's Gopal. Gopala Udara Charitam. Hey Krishna, hey Gopal. Kastripyeta Amritam Jushan. Shukdev Goswami is saying, Oh Maharaj Parikshit, I know you have less time, so I'm going to go quickly. Parikshit Maharaj says, this is the Amrit. Takshak may or may not come, but this Amrit should continue. This will take me forever. No problem. Kastripyeta, who is that person who can hear once and say that's enough, I know. If we feel we know, we haven't heard it properly. By hearing a certain Leela, if the desire to hear that Leela over and over and over again comes in, that is the true test of getting the mercy of that pastime. If our mind blocks it by thinking, Putana, oh, I know. Our false ego, our mind may cheat us. But Parikshit Maharaj, he knows all these Leelas. Because he's a descendant of the Pandavas. And Krishna was the chariot driver to that Arjun, the great Gandhivdhari. So Parikshit Maharaj knows all these pastimes. But the eagerness with which he listens to, we wish we get one drop. This great river Yamuna has been glorified by Srila Prabhupada in the purport, quoting from Srila Jiva Goswami. This is from Canto 1, Chapter 19, Text 6 purport. And I quote Srila Prabhupada. Krishna's lotus feet are always besmeared with the tulasi leaves, and thus as soon as his lotus feet contact the water of the Ganga and the Yamuna, the rivers become at once sanctified. The Lord, however, contacted the river Yamuna more than the Ganga. According to the Varaha Puran, as quoted by Srila Jiva Goswami, there is no difference between the waters of Ganga and the Yamuna. But when the waters of the Ganga is sanctified 100 times, it's called Yamuna. How wonderful. How beautiful. It was Sri Jiva Goswami Pad who proved this to Badshah Akbar. In Vrindavan, there was in the headquarters of Badshah Akbar, outside Vrindavan, there was a big debate on who's the greatest river of all sacred rivers. And everyone came to the consensus that there has to be between Ganga and Yamuna. But there were scholars who said Ganga and there were scholars who said Yamuna. And Akbar Badshah couldn't come to a proper conclusion. And he wrote a letter to Sri Jiva Goswami and very kindly invited him from Vrindavan to that debate. And Sri Jiva Goswami Pad said, I cannot come because I have Dhamvas. I cannot leave Vrindavan. Badshah Akbar said, I promise you, you can come in the morning, finish the debate and go back by evening so that when the sun sets, you're in Braj. Jiva Goswami Pad agreed. And Sri Jiva Goswami Pad went there and proved without any doubt from numerous sources of Vedic wisdom how Yamuna Devi, the statement that Srila Prabhupada writes, is so much more potent. Krishna would frolic in the Yamuna. Nadyastadātad upadhārya mukunda gītam āvarta lakshita mano bhava bhagna vega ālinganam sthagitam urmi bhujair murare grinhanti pada yugalam kamalopahara. The gopis have glorified Yamuna. Krishna would frolic in the Yamuna. He would wash his face in the Yamuna. Sometimes he would fill his mouth with the waters of Yamuna and spit and make fountains as a child. And when Krishna sits on the branch and just puts his lotus feet hanging, Yamuna Devi creates waves and tides only to touch the dust of Krishna's feet. And it's described, Yamuna Devi, she's like the gopis of Vrindavan. She's stuck between two banks. The gopis of Vrindavan are bound between two banks. They are bound by the father's side and the father-in-law's side, both of whom say, don't go to Krishna. So Yamuna Devi is a Sakhi who's bound by the two banks of the father's side and the father-in-law's side, and she still flows towards Krishna. As a river, her dharma is to flow towards the ocean. But she is flowing upstream against her dharma. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam braja. She goes against her dharma of going towards the ocean, salty ocean. She goes towards the ocean of mercy, Karuna Sindhu Shri Krishna. And there are waves in the Yamuna. It is described those waves are her transcendental ecstatic emotions that she's offering to Krishna. There are whirlpools in the Yamuna. That's her heart being churned by hearing Krishna's flute sound. And then she also carries lotus flowers to offer to Krishna like the Sakhis do. How great is Yamuna Devi? Sripad Vallabhacharya Mahaprabhu, he has composed a very famous Yamunashtakam, where he starts off by saying, Namami Yamunamaham. Hey Yamune, I bow down to you. She's very different from her brother. When Krishna appeared, Yamuna was flooding through Mathura, through all the streets, to tell the whole world, my brother takes away life. Look, water is life and I am providing it to everyone. I am different from my brother. Therefore, O Krishna, please accept me. When Vasudeva Maharaj was carrying Krishna, Yamuna gave way. She split in the center. And Sri Hari Suriji in Bhakti Rasayanam, in that section, he writes, I heard this from my Guru Maharaj many, many years ago and I was amazed. How can somebody comment like this when he quoted Sri Hari Suriji? Sri Hari Suriji writes, when Vasudeva Maharaj carried Krishna in the basket and he came, Yamuna split and gave way, telling Krishna, Please come into my heart and see how much pain I have. There is a serpent called Kāliya living inside. Please grow up, jump into my waters, kick him out forever. She is revealing her heart by giving way and letting Krishna enter her heart. But then she saw something very interesting. Vasudeva Maharaj was carrying Krishna, and behind Vasudeva was another serpent. Sri Hari Suriji writes, now continuing from the same train of thought, that Yamuna became so annoyed. Krishna, I come to you with one problem, and you bringing one serpent of your own. Therefore she became turbulent. That if I don't take care of my life, Krishna, who will? That was the external reason. But the internal reason is she had to rise and touch Krishna's feet. Please don't bring this snake with you. I beg you. Sri Rupa Goswami Pad has glorified Yamuna. Dvipa Chakravala Jushta Sapta Sindhu Bhedini. Shri Mukunda Nirmitoru Divya Keli Vedini. Aha. Sri Rupa Goswami Pad says, Hey Yamune, the 7 Dvipas, the 7 islands are covered by the 7 oceans, and you flow through all of them and you don't mix with any. Dvipa Chakravala Jushta Sapta Sindhu Bhedini. You are separate from, you are apart from all water bodies in this world. And Shri Mukunda Nirmitoru Divya Keli Vedini. Hey Yamune, you are the source, the manifestation point for so many leelas of Krishna. Brahma Vimohan Leela on the banks of Yamuna. Rasa Leela on the banks of Yamuna. In fact, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Krishna, you keep frolicking from one bank to another, but the banks are Yamuna only. Krishna loves Yamuna Rani so much. Right from his appearance, through his dips in the Yamuna, his splashing of the water in the Yamuna, his swimming in the Yamuna, his playing in the Yamuna, with the Gopas, with the Gopis. Salila Vihar, Noka Vihar, Jhulan Vihar, all these pastimes on the banks of Yamuna. Oh ho ho. How could Krishna see that Yamuna contaminated? Vilokya dushitam Krishnam Krishna Krishna hina vibhu. A black, poisonous, venomous, wicked snake comes and pollutes such a great devotee? Impossible. This is happening on one side. Yamuna Devi is being contaminated and troubled. In fact, in the Harivansh Puran it is described, Yamuna was so frustrated with Kāliya's presence. Because Kāliya, he just came with his whole family. Kāliya came with his whole family and he was living in the water. Nobody else could survive. Only the snakes who were his disciples. They had to say, yes. And be yes snakes to his hissing. They were all his family, his Siksha, Diksha disciples, that's all. The Harivansh Puran describes, and Sri Jiva Goswami quotes this in the Laghu Vaishnav Toshini, that around the banks of the Yamuna there were so many holes. And they were all infested with these snakes. Nobody could come close. They just settled there and they wouldn't leave. Yad gatva na nivartante. They took that verse literally in their life. Once you enter, you will never leave. Krishna said about his abode, but they took that to be Yamuna. But anyway, the Harivansh Puran describes Kāliya was living under water, but his anger, his envy, his venom was so thick, so black. It was viscous. The poison was having foams on the surface and smoke and vapors and bubbles. And wherever Kāliya moved his head, you could see that water above boiling more than other water bodies, because he was moving his head and it was almost like, next time you keep something on the stove and you see it starts to boil, look underneath and you'll see that the flames are on. So that's an Uddipan to remember this pastime. Not Kāliya, but the pastime. So it is described, in fear of Kāliya's wrath, Yamuna Devi was flowing upstream to go away from him, but he was swimming all over. She was in pain. Artha Vishanna Shitilascha Bhita. Vishnu Sahasranam. Those who are distressed, when they call out to Krishna, Krishna comes and removes distress from their life. Samasta bhaktarthi vinashanani Govinda damodar madhaveti. Samasta bhakta arthi vinashanani. Krishna eagerly jumps into the lives of devotees when they call out to him when they have problems. Gajendra called out, Krishna jumped into his pond. Yamuna is calling, Krishna is not jumping into her pond. We have to call out to him. Krishna gives us pains through material nature and our karma. All these Kāliyas are entering the Yamuna of our heart. And the water is boiling with distress only so that we call out to Krishna. Then he will jump the Yamuna of our heart and kick the Kāliya out, and he will continue to swim for all times to come. This was happening on one side, Yamuna's pain. On the other side, the boys were in ecstasy. Krishna and his Sakhya Leelas were going on so sweetly. Phala pravala sthavaka sumana pichha dhatubhi kacha gunjamani swarna bhushita apya bhushayan. Bhagavatam describes the friends were playing with each other, they were feeding each other, they were decorating each other, they were running and catching each other. Yadi duram gata Krishna vanashobhekshanayatam aham purvam iti samsprashyare mire. The boys were running behind Krishna. Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes a comment that the boys, when Krishna would go ahead and the boys would see there's a distance between Krishna and them, they would become so frantic, they would get so eager, they would tell each other, look, I will first go and touch Krishna. The other boy would say, no, I am going to be the first one to go and touch Krishna. And Saraswati Thakur writes, they would promise first and then run. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, they would first run. And after touching Krishna, they would fight with one another. I was the one who touched him first. No, I was the one who touched him first. The boys are busy playing. Ittam satam brahmasukhano bhutya dasyam gatanam paradaivatena maya dhritanam naradarakena sakham bijahru kritapunya punja. Who can describe the fortune of these boys? They are decorating Gopal. They are having face painting on his face. He is the canvas for them. One Gopa is decorating this side, another Gopa is decorating that side. Then after finishing, this Gopa is saying, my side is better than your side. This Gopa is saying, no, this side is better than that side. Then both of them look at each other and say, this side is better than any side. Krishna's face is the actual decoration. Parampadam bhushana bhushanangam. The boys are massaging each other's feet when they get tired running. Sometimes they're stealing each other's lunch boxes. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, they steal lunch boxes and hide it at the base of the trees. They dig some mud, cover the pot of prasad with a cloth and put it underground and put the mud over it. And then they all sit to eat, except that one boy who doesn't have a lunchbox, because that lunchbox has been stolen. Sakha bhava sakhya bhave sakha kare skanda arohan tumi kon bada log tumi amisham. They are climbing on one another's back. Krishna says, this butter pot is so tasty, let's pick this. And the boys become a pyramid. And another boy says, Krishna, please help me, I need to climb. And they're climbing on the back of Gopal. Sometimes Gopal's climbing, sometimes they're climbing. In Vaikuntha, Vishnu's always on the back of Garuda. You will not find Garuda on the back of Vishnu. But in Braj Leela, you will find these interesting twists. And Krishna is Yashoda Nandan. He's not standing there as Bhagavan. So sometimes his shoulders are trembling, depending on who's standing. If it's Madhu Mangal, yes. And then Madhu Mangal says, Krishna, please. Where is all that butter going? become stronger. They're hiding each other's lunch boxes. They're helping each other steal from others' homes. Sometimes they take somebody's flute and they say, here's your flute. You want to take it, take it, take it. And the boy comes closer. They throw the flute. And now the boy starts running behind the flute. By then another boy runs there, picks up the flute. This is your flute? Oh, it's gone. And they keep playing with the flutes and the buffalo horns and the bugles. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says they don't throw prasadam. They only hide it. But sticks and buffalo horns they throw around. And the boy who's having his sticks thrown all over the place, he becomes cranky. Mushnanto anyonya shikyadin nyatan aracha chikshipuhu tatratyashcha punardurat. Then after the person starts realizing my stick is gone from one person to another, he starts to weep. Please give me my flute, please. And then all the boys come there, okay, don't cry. Okay. Oh, take it. Yamuna is crying there with Kāliya, here ecstasy. Boys are in ecstasy. Kechit vedun vadayanta, dhamanta shringani kechana. Sometimes they're playing flutes together. Sometimes they're playing buffalo horns and bugles together. And some boys can't play the flute. They can't play bugles. They can't play buffalo horns. They bring conch shells. And whenever somebody's playing something that they can't play, they eclipse that with Have you, with the experience of leading kirtans on festival occasions, had that experience? Where you start singing Hare Krishna and the two head pujaris will come next to you and the conch shell keeps going on. So don't get sad at that point. You are already in Krishna's Leela. Kechit venun vadayantam dhamanta shringani kechana. Kechit bringai pragayantaha. Some of them are running behind bumblebees. Bringai pragayantaha. They are humming like bumblebees. Some, like mosquitoes, they're making sounds in the ears of other boys and irritating them. We find all of that fun here because it's a reflection of what Gopal does with his friends there. And kujantam kokilai pare. They sit with the cuckoos and the cuckoos go coo, and the boys go coo, and then Gopal goes coo, and the cuckoo stops. Netrahin Sri Surdas ji in his Braj Bhasha poetry, he writes, Krishna, why do you do this? You have given the cuckoo one talent. And when the cuckoo is singing and offering you that talent, you do it better than the cuckoo and they can't offer what you have given them. So sometimes Krishna hides behind leaves just to observe the cuckoo singing for him. Kujantam kokilai pare, vichhaya bhi pradhavanto, gachanta sadhu hamsakai, bakair upavishantascha, nityantascha kalapi bihi. Bhagavatam describes, sometimes the birds are flying in the sky and the boys are running behind the shadow. Bigger the bird, bigger the shadow, depending on where the sun is. And the boys are trying to run to catch the shadow of the bird, which is not possible. But sometimes the bird stops, it doesn't. But in Braj it does, because the birds are flying to serve Krishna's Leela. They don't do that in this world. The bird continues. Irrespective of what Leela you're doing here, the bird continues. But in Braj it's not like that. The birds want to please Krishna and their friends. So the bird sometimes slows this flying speed and the boy stands and holds the shadow and tells Krishna, look, I held the bird with the shadow. And Gachanta Sadhu Hamsakai, some boys are jumping into the water ponds and swimming with the swans. The swans just mind their own business. And these boys want to get into their business. They want to be Paramahamsas. So they jump behind these swans and they scare the swans. The swans are just by themselves, just swimming in the waters. And the boys in no time encircle from all sides the swan, and the swan looks to the right, to the left, ahead, behind, in all directions, and there are boys, they're all swimming like the swans in the water. Bakair upavishantascha, there are some boys making fun of the cranes on the banks of the Jamuna. The cranes don't care at all. Birds are flying, swan is swimming, we are happy. By ourselves, we are happy. The crane is standing on one leg, bako dhyana. And the boys also sit next to the crane on one leg. And the crane looks to the left and the boy looks to the right. The crane is called Bagula. Right? Yes? The original Sanskrit word is Bak. Therefore we say Bakasur. Because the crane keeps saying Bak. Bak. So even in this world, when someone says something which doesn't make any sense, we say, Bak Bak mat karo. Don't do Bak Bak. How does that come into Hindi? It comes from the Sanskrit. Bak. Bak means crane. The crane say Bak. What does it mean? They know. We don't understand. So the boys sit next to the crane and they are Bak. Bak. And the crane also looks and he's scared. He moves to the right. The boys also move to the right. They're playing around. And some boys are saying, this is too boring. Let's go trouble the peacocks. Krishna's neck is compared to the neck of a peacock. Keki kantava neelam. From the side, when Krishna's neck is seen by the acharyas, Keki kantava neelam. The neck of Krishna is as bluish black as the slender, curvy neck of the peacock. So they go and trouble the peacock. Nrityantascha kalapibihi. Kalapa means peacock. They sit next to the peacock, and the peacock is busy looking at Krishna opening up its feathers, because the peacock loves to dance in front of the rain cloud. Krishna is the rain cloud. The peacocks love the rain cloud. So looking at the rain cloud called Shyamasundar, the peacocks open up their feathers and they are dancing. And the boys also, they sit next to the peacock. They look at the peacock. They also open up their feathers. And they're also trying to dance. And the peacock is moving, the boys also move. They're trying to trouble the peacock. The peacock is running, they're also running. Nrityantascha kalapibhi. What level of fraternal love is this? Sakhyarati. Where Krishna forgets that he is Bhagavan, the friends forget that Krishna is Bhagavan, and both are playing eternally, frolicking with spontaneous love. Sakhyarati is such an amazing sthai bhav. As much love God has for the jiva, that much love the jiva has for Bhagavan. Can you imagine? It matches and it resonates in Sakhyarati. Vatsalya and Madhurya goes higher, where the love that God has for the devotee gets eclipsed compared to the love that the devotee has for Bhagavan. Therefore, Namamishwaram Satchitananda Rupam Lasat Kundalem Gokule Bhrajamanam. They are pulling the tail of monkeys together. In Vrindavan, when you see monkeys, we get scared, right? Right? Scary sometimes. Sometimes, right? Not all the time. Or all the time. Little bit, oh, you're quite brave. I also say like this, but when I see the monkey, I run away. Krishna and his friends, Vikarshanta Kisha Balan, Arohantascha Taidruman. Krishna and his friends are pulling the tail of baby monkeys who are on the lap of the mother. Baby monkeys in the lap of the mother, and Krishna climbs up the tree and pulls the tail of the baby monkey. And when the mother monkey comes in front of the boys, widens her eyes and shows her teeth, the boys also do that. Then when she comes closer, they jump from branch to branch to escape. They jump, squat together and jump like the frogs. Sakam phekair vilanganta sarita sarasampluta. They jump from one tributary to another pond, to lake, from one part of the pond to another part of the pond, jumping like the frogs. And sometimes they're looking at their own reflections and laughing loudly. Sometimes Krishna is giving bad words into a deep, dark, open well. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Krishna would give bad words as follows. He would shout in a well, "Hey you!" And it would say, "Hey you, hey you, hey you." And then Krishna would believe there's somebody inside. Sometimes Krishna would shout in the forests and there would be echo coming from the caves of the mountains. And Krishna would say, "Who's there? Who's there? Who's there? Who's there?" Krishna said, "It's me! It's me! It's me! It's me! I am the son of Nanda Maharaj. I'm the son of Nanda Maharaj. The son of... No, I am the only one. The only one. The only one." And Krishna believes there are people in the forest who are speaking. And then he starts to weep. I never knew Nanda Maharaj has more sons. Pratiswanan. Shukdev Goswami has melted our hearts with these descriptions. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, when you see a fruit, you don't remember the reflection. But when you see the reflection, you must remember the fruit. This world, Urdhva Moolam Adhashakam, is the reflection. That world is the fruit. That is the bimba. This is the pratibimba. So when you see that, don't remember this world. But when you see things like this happen in this world, remember that world. Every happening in this world is only a little uddipan, a little stimulant to take us there. These boys were playing. They were playing every single day. But their life changed. When Kāliya entered the Jamuna, now the boys were told at home, don't go there. And the boys were very curious, why not? When you tell children what to do, they will not. When you tell them, don't do something, Shringyagni damshri asi jalan, Dvija kantha. Mother Yashoda would tell Bal Gopal, don't touch fire. And that was the first and only thing he wanted to do in his life. He was fascinated by the flames of the fire. In the Gita, he's saying, Bhumirapo nalo vayu khammano buddhirevacha. In the Bhagavatam, Krishna can say, Madbhayat vati, that the fire gets its power out of fear of me. But when he becomes the Nandan, he forgets all these verses. And he goes to touch those flames. Mother Yashoda has to hold him. She tells him, no going there. Next day she finds him putting his hand inside the mouth of a monkey. This is there in the Bhagavatam. Mother Yashoda would say, no putting your hand in the mouth of the monkey. Krishna would say, but you said no for fire. Yes, fire and no into the mouth of the monkey as well. Okay, no, I will not do that. Next day, he's going and touching the horns of a bull. Shringyagni damstri asi jalan, dvija kanthakebhyaha. He didn't know how to swim and he would try to crawl to go into the water when his mother is bathing. Mother Yashoda would tell him, you sit on the banks, I will finish snan and I will come. But before she comes out, he's jumping into the water. He would go and catch the tail of the snakes. And when none of this is allowed, then you'll find him jumping on thorns. And Mother Yashoda has to put her palms for Krishna's lotus feet to be protected. So that Yashoda Rani, Rohini Devi, Nanda Baba, they advised the boys, don't go to the banks of the Jamuna. Our Acharyas have explained that this was not the mainstream of Yamuna. It was a small lake which was connected to the Yamuna, which means when the water of the Yamuna overflooded, that water went and filled in this lake. So this water wouldn't go there, but the mainstream water came here. Which means this pond or this lake, which was contaminated and polluted by Kāliya, it was not the mainstream Yamuna, because if it was, that water would go up to Mathura and kill everyone. That didn't happen. So it was a little pond. So all these boys who were busy frolicking, jumping, laughing, hiding, stealing, they were told by their parents, go wherever you want, but not there. And who was given the authority to protect them? Balaram. Balaram. Baladev Prabhu ki. Krishna tells us so many things not to do, but we still go there. And therefore we need Guru as Baladev, Guru Karana Dharam, to protect us from that pond of sense gratification in this world. Balaram was always taking care, and Sri Jiva Goswami Pad has explained that between the two, Balaram was more obedient. And Krishna was very experimental. When Mother Yashoda told him, don't go there, every day his palms would itch to jump into that water and see what is there. Krishna's only desire was he wanted to swim underwater in that pond and see where these bubbles are coming from. So curious. Athato Brahma Jidnyasa. Here Parabrahma himself is expressing his curiosity. Baladev Prabhu was very obedient. Sri Goswami Pad writes this. He was very obedient to Mother Yashoda. If Mother Yashoda puts rules, he will play it up to the T. But Krishna is not like that. He wanted to experiment, and every day, even if the cows are going somewhere else, Krishna will somehow come to this pond. This pond was so toxic. Shukdev Goswami describes, by the presence of Kāliya, this pond had become so toxic that the trees on the banks of this pond had all died. All animals who even came closer were touched by the fumes, the smoke, the vapor coming from this water died. Insects died. In fact, upariga khaga, birds flying very high, were sucked in when they were touched by the breeze which touched the water of this pond. And they were all dying. Nobody could survive. Sri Hari Suriji has given a lesson here. Kāliya durjana sangati nahi kadapye tat sputam tad gira. He says the ill effects of bad association is such. You don't have to associate with a wicked person. If you associate with a person who associates with a person who associates with a wicked person, you will fall. Because the birds in Sanskrit are called Dvija. And the word Dvija also means devotees. So if devotees are flying high in Sattva Gun like these birds, and they are touched by the breeze, who was touched by the water, which is touched by Kāliya, those birds must be sucked into this pond and fall from their spiritual status. So if you associate with a person, like the breeze, who associated with a person, like the water, who associated with the wicked person, Kāliya, we may be making our way up, but we will be sucked down by this bad association. Ha hanta hanta vishabhakshanatopya sadhu. Bad association. So Mother Yashoda said, don't go there. Please don't go. And Krishna every day, one trip he would make. Somehow he had darshan of that pond every day. And not just that, Jiva Goswami Pad writes, Krishna was very eager to show off to his friends how he could jump into that pond and nothing will happen to him. It was a mix of curiosity, desire to taste chivalry or veer-ras, show off to his friends his strength, and Kāliya being so toxic just made the whole thing so wonderful. Nobody went there, yeah, I will go. Have you seen people in the present generation also? They will go to places which even in the news articles say it's haunted. But they will go. They want to try. They want to take as many theme park experiences as possible where all of those equipments have failed. Still to show nothing happened to me, see. I did, what is that called? Where they jump from somewhere? Huh? Bungee jumping, yes. In one of my travels, one devotee asked me, Prabhu, have you ever done bungee jumping? I didn't even know what it meant. I said, what is it? He said, you have to put some parachute and, is that from the flight or something? Is that bungee jumping? That is the one he asked me. He said, do you want to do that? Because he had some connection. He said, do you want to do that? I said, Manusha janma paiya Radha Krishna na bhajiya janiya shuniya bisha khainu. Elo ar gelo. He came with a human form. What did he do? Jump and died. What is this? So I said, I don't want to do it. But Krishna, out of his transcendental curiosity, he wanted to do things that he was told not to do. And he found the golden opportunity. It was Balaram's birthday. Sri Jiva Goswami Pad writes, it was the Masika Janma Nakshatra Tithi, which means it was the monthly star constellation celebration of Balaram's birthday. And every day Balaram would dictate where to go. He was the GPS. He was the Guru Parampara system. Telling all the boys where to go, which forest and how to go, where, how, why. And one day when Balaram had to be kept home because it was his monthly celebration, Mother Yashoda and Rohini Devi said, Baladev Prabhu, you must stay at home. You have to give in charity. You'll have auspicious bathing. The Brahmanas will come and protect you. And Balaram said, okay, I will stay at home. Sri Kavi Karanapurji writes, as soon as he got to know, Balaram told Subal, please tell Krishna, because Krishna was already enthusiastic. He took all his so-called paraphernalia, took his cows, calves, and he moved on. Balaram, when he got to know, he told Subal, please tell Krishna, I can't come today. And therefore, what you should be telling Krishna is, Madhya Gache Kadapi, please don't go. Kāliyasya Rida Kache, Madhya Gache Kadapi, please don't go to the banks of that pond polluted by Kāliya. Please tell Krishna this. I am not there today. Subal, you have to protect. Subal said, okay, and he forgot. And by then, Yamuna is crying. She wants purification. Kāliya is enjoying. It's interesting how many things were happening parallelly. We find in the Bhagavatam how Kashyapa Muni had Vinata and Kadru as the wives. And both were given boons by Kashyapa Muni. And Kadru said, my desire is I want 1,000 children. And she gave birth to 1,000 serpents. Where Vasuki, Kāliya, they're all children. Vinata said, I want only 2 children who are much stronger than those 1,000. And those 2 were Aruna, the chariot driver of Surya Dev, and Garuda. Now it's interesting. Before Garuda appeared, Vinata and Kadru, one fine day, when they were looking in the sky, they saw this celestial Uchchaishrava horse who appeared from the churning of the milk ocean. He was flying and galloping. So Kadru and Vinata looked, and Vinata said, look at that horse, he has white tail. Kadru saw this horse go deep into the dark sky. So she said, no, that tail is black. So Vinata said, this horse has white tail. Kadru said, this horse has black tail. Now both of them had an argument. Well, the horse can have only white tail or black tail if it's white horse or black horse. But interestingly, they were both fighting on the color of the hair strand of the tail of the horse. Quite an important agenda in life to fight about. We already have so many things to fight about. Now we add an extra flavor on fighting on what is the color of the hair strand on the tip of the tail of the celestial flying galloping horse. Wow. So they both had an argument. And then Kadru said, if I prove it that it is black, then you have to be my servant for life. Vinata said, if I prove that the tail is white, you have to be my servant for life. Fair enough. Kadru went home and told all her 1,000 serpent sons, I had a bet with Vinata about the tail color of Uchchaishrava. And all the snakes said, yeah, it's white. Kadru said, no, it's black. Her own children said, Mom, everybody knows Uchchaishrava is white horse, white tail. Kadru said, oh no. I very confidently challenged Vinata. Now all you children, you have to help me. You have to prove somehow that that tail is black. These serpents were very well cultured. Good parenting. So they told their mother, how can we lie? How can we speak what is untrue? We have to speak the truth. And the truth is the tail is white. The mother said, if you don't take my side, then I will curse you. That in the future when Janamejaya performs a sacrifice, all you snakes will be sucked into that sacrificial pit and you will die. Some snakes said, doesn't matter if that is karma, but we will not speak lies. One child said, it is black. Mother, if you say it is black, it is black. If you say it is purple, it is purple. I will help you. The mother said, how will you help me? The serpent said, tomorrow when Uchchaishrava is galloping, I will go faster than him and wrap myself around the tail. So from a distance, when Vinta sees, you can just tell her, look, it's a white horse but black tail. Kadru said, Mera bachcha, my child. And that same thing happened. The child of Kadru went and wrapped himself as a serpent around the tail of Uchchaishrava. And next day when both of them, Kadru and Vinata, they both looked at Uchchaishrava, they saw it was a white horse with a black tail. Vinata said, okay, I surrender myself to life to you and I am your servant. Kadru agreed to this. For all times to come, Vinata was serving. But after about 500 years, it is described, the egg hatched. Vinata. And the personality who came out was Garuda. Garuda came as the son of Vinata. And he was fulfilling every desire of his mother. And his mother's desire was, can you take these snakes from here to there? And now here was Garuda flying with serpents on his back. It was below his dignity. He just asked his mother, can you just tell me why I am expected to carry these serpents on my back? What should I do to just get rid of this? When he asked Vinata, Vinata said the whole story of Uchchaishrava's, how she had become subordinate to Kadru. Garuda said, what do I do to free us from this? The serpent said, very simple. You have to go to heaven, get the pot of nectar that even Indra is looking for, and give it to all of us. We will become immortal. We'll free you and your mother from this. Garuda said, that's it? So be it. He flew, crossing through different layers. He entered the heavenly kingdom. So many details to it. He got the pot of nectar. Looking at this, Indra was very envious. Indra felt, how dare this bird is more powerful in getting the pot of nectar and successful more than me. Indra took his thunderbolt and he threw his thunderbolt at Garuda. What happened? Nothing. Garuda looked, the thunderbolt came and just collapsed. Indra looked at Garuda. How is it that it failed? Garuda said, I am the eternal order carrier of Vishnu. These thunderbolts have no effect on me. But because you want to find some curiosity and some joy in the attack, okay, I'll drop a feather. Garuda dropped a feather in comparison to the thunderbolt that Indra shot. That day, Garuda was given the name Suparna. Parna means feather and Su means good. He dropped a nice feather in compared to Indra. So he was called Suparna. Indra said, you are so great. Can we be friends? Can we be friends? Garuda said, yes, we can be friends. Indra said, can I have that pot of nectar? Garuda said, yes, please, I don't want to give it to these serpents. I want to free myself from the curse, but at the same time, I don't want to give it to these serpents. Can you just take it? Indra said, how do I take it? Garuda said, I will drop it to the serpents. Before they take it, you take it. Indra said, okay. Garuda got the pot of nectar, kept it in the Nagalok, and before they could take it, Indra snatched it away. The serpents were furious. They hated Garuda so much more, and a battle began between the two. Garuda was so much more powerful. So just by his flapping of his wings, Pakshma Yuddha, Melpattur Narayana Bhattadri writes, that Garuda, just by flapping his wings, he was fighting this battle. Gayanti yam samaga. Just by his flapping of his wings, if Vedas can manifest, what to speak of fighting these sarpas. Garuda was eating these snakes for breakfast. He was so powerful. Bhakta paya bhujanga Garuda-mani. When the Lord sits on the back of Garuda, can you imagine how glorious and how majestic, how opulent? Garuda is so wonderful, and the Lord is like a touchstone. Blue sapphire, Ujjwal Neelamani on the back of Garuda. That Garuda was eating these snakes left, right, center. The snake said, please have some mercy on us. Every month we will give some offering. You please eat only that. You can't come in and just eat all of us. Garuda said, okay. Vaishnava must be compassionate, that's okay. I will eat, but what you offer me every month. So they started offering it to Garuda, and Garuda would come and eat it from the Ramanaka Islands. This was going on there. But Kadru's children, headed by Kāliya, as they were offering, Kāliya said, wait a minute. Why should we be so subservient? We should not. In fact, what is offered to Garuda, I am going to eat. Let's see what he does to me. And Kāliya started eating the share of Garuda's share. And when Garuda got to know, fight between Kāliya and Garuda began. Both were spitting flames at each other in anger. But Garuda is finally much more powerful. Kāliya didn't know where to go. By then the story of Shaubari Muni comes into picture. Shaubari Muni, who was living underwater in the Yamuna, he had befriended the fishes. And when you live close to someone for a long time, then their problems become your problems. The fishes were being eaten by Garuda. And they went and told Shaubari Muni, our population is reducing. Shaubari Muni said, don't worry, I will help. Taking sides with the fish, he cursed Garuda. If you ever touch the water of the Jamuna, you will die. Now Shaubari Muni, who was sitting underwater and meditating, he got influenced in the duality. He took sides with the fishes, cursed a Vaishnava, got Vaishnava aparad, material desires came in his heart. Shaubari Muni came out of his austerity, came out of the Jamuna, went to King Mandhata, said, I want to get married. Now looking at Shaubari Muni, imagine a sage sitting underwater, his skin, his beard, his dreadlocks, all of this with the dust, the water, underwater, everything is shriveled and withered away. He came to King Mandhata and said, I want to marry. King Mandhata thought, if I say yes, I will struggle because he will be my son-in-law. If I say no, I will struggle because I will be the recipient of his kripa, curse. So Mandhata played it safe. He said, sure, I will be very fortunate. I have 50 daughters. Whichever daughter wants to marry you, I'm okay. Shaubari Muni realized. He changed his form to a very handsome young prince. Now all 50 wanted to marry. All 50 married. Shaubari Muni, who was meditating underwater, his trajectory changed. He became a grihastha with 50 queens, 50 wives and so many children, and his life continued. And at one point, when the effect of that Vaishnava aparad reduced, he realized, what am I doing with my life? Came back to the Yamuna again to meditate. But in the middle of all this, Garuda was cursed not to touch the water of the Jamuna. Kāliya, who was fighting Garuda, he wanted a place to protect himself. Leaving Ramanaka Islands, Kāliya came all the way to the pond of Jamuna and took shelter. Garuda sitting on the banks waiting. You will come out, Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnava. Because if I touch, I will die. But someday you will come out. Kāliya said, I will not come. He made, according to Sripad Sanatan Goswami, Kāliya made using Jalastambhana Vidya, which means the art of building a palace underwater. He made a big palace, a whole kingdom with ministers and servants, all of them snakes underwater, ruling. Yamuna became a sad story for the Brajbasis and a happy protective shield, a Yamuna Kavach for Kāliya's family. And as this was happening, all these came together, all these different pastimes parallelly came together, where Krishna's frolicking, wants to frolic, Balaram's birthday, Shaubari's curse, Kāliya taking shelter, and Krishna brings his boys on the bank of that pond. And look what happens. Atha gavascha gopascha nidaghatapapidita dushtam jalam papustasyas krishnartha vishadushitam. The cows became thirsty first. Quite interesting. Krishna was playing with his friends, and little by little, he was continuing to bring the game closer to this bank. Because he wanted to go there, so he would throw a stick there, and then now you have to go there. Then from there, he would throw the stick again. Little by little, Krishna was playing a trick in his mind. He wanted to come there somehow. Because Balaram is not there. No supervision. Just like the announcement was made by our Aditya Narayan Prabhu, that children must have adult supervision at all times. Same in Krishna Leela. And there was no adult supervision. Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Rani, Baladev, nobody. The kids were, oh my God. They were in ecstasy. And this pastime is a summer pastime. Summer pastime. It's quite interesting. Shukadeva Goswami will describe different rutus, different seasons in Vrindavan, and befitting connected pastimes alongside with it. So for example, he will speak about the autumn season, Sharad Ritu. And then he will say, Itham Sharad Swachha Jalam Padmakara Sugandhina Nyavishad Vayuna Vatam Sago Gopalako Chutaha. He will talk about the autumn season, and then he will say, Bhagavan Apita Ratri Sharadotphulla Mallika. He will talk about Sharad, and then he will say Sharadotphulla Mallika. He will talk about a pastime. So here, he's speaking of this pastime in the summer season, as we are all sitting in the summer season, fanning ourselves. The boys are also feeling hot. The cows are feeling even more hot. Summer afternoon, they're walking from one place to another, one forest to another, and Trinalobena Gaharam, eating grass, hunger for grass and thirst for water. The cows continued to walk. And they came close to this pond, and they became so thirsty. They said, we'll just move the upper surface of the water a bit and drink inside. Do you do that when you go to some ponds in Vrindavan? There's little green moss on the surface, so you just move it 2-3 times and then you take Achman. The cows of Vrindavan were doing that. Srila Kavi Karnapur, he writes, the Goswamis of Vrindavan were like these ponds. He explains, Anta bhakti rasena purna hridayo bahye avadhuta kriti shaivalai pihita mahasara iva Preeti Spradastad Vidham. Kavi Karnapur describing Sanatan Goswami, he writes, just like the kunds in Vrindavan, they may have a moss covering on the surface, but very sweet, pure water underneath. Sanatan Goswami has pure bhakti rasa in his heart, covered by the external covering of an avadut. So we have to go beyond the external covering. That's a lesson. You can't judge the book by its cover. You can't judge drishtai swabhava janitai vapushascha doshe. You can't judge devotees by their externals. So these ponds, the cows being Krishna's associates, they were moving the water on the surface, and they tried to go closer, and as soon as the water touched their lips, dead. Mriyante. The word used is mriyante. The cows turned to the side with their mouth wide open, eyes open, and they fell dead on the surface, on the banks of these ponds. The boys were busy playing. After some time, the boys felt that the cows are not around. Where are they? Sri Jiva Goswami Pad writes, the boys came searching behind the cows by the grass that they had cut with their teeth and the imprints of their hoofs, and they found these cows of Krishna all found dead on the banks of this pond. Sri Jiva Goswami Pad writes that these boys knew the water was poisonous, but they thought to themselves, what will we do without these cows? Better we drink this water and die. Therefore the boys walked ahead, tolerating all the fumes and the vapor, and they went, put their palms in the water, and they touched the water with their lips, dead. The boys were found frothing from their mouth, dead, with eyes open, mouth open, next to these cows. Where was Krishna? In the afternoons, Krishna takes a break. Why? Because he takes a little break and goes to Radha Kund and he meets Srimati Radharani and comes back. And Shukadeva Goswami says this in the Bhagavatam in a very hidden way. He says, Vana Shobhe Kshanaya. Vana Shobha Ikshanaya. Shobha means beauty. Vana means forest. Ikshanaya means to see. In the middle, Krishna would take breaks to go and see the beauty of the forest of Vrindavan. Which could mean the trees, the flowers, the fruits, but Srimati Radharani is the Vana Shobha. Such a beautiful name. Vana Shobha. So Shukadeva Goswami is using the name of Radharani in a hidden way by saying sometimes Krishna will leave his friends and go to Radha Kund to see the beauty of the forest. Vana Shobha Ikshanaya. And then he would come back. By the time Krishna came, Krishna saw that the cows, the calves, the boys have all fallen dead. This is a very important lesson for all of us, dear devotees. Very, very important. Thirst is what causes upliftment or fall down. The Bhagavatam starts with Parikshit Maharaj getting thirsty. Parikshit Maharaj got thirsty when he came to the ashram of Shamik Rishi. And he just picked a dead snake. We are talking about thirst and snake, connected pastimes. Parikshit Maharaj picked the dead cold snake with the end of his bow and garlanded Shamik Rishi. That's all. And that thirst, because Parikshit Maharaj was so thirsty and he wanted Shamik Rishi to feed him some water. That thirst came with a repercussion. The curse of Shringi, causing death of Maharaj Parikshit in 7 days. Another thirst we see in the pages of Mahabharata is the Yaksha Prashna, where we see that the Pandavas became so thirsty that they went to the pond and there were announcements. Only those who answer the questions can actually drink this water. But they were so thirsty, they went and put their palms into the pond of water and they drank and died. One after another, and then Yudhishthir Maharaj had to go, answer all the questions, revive all his brothers and bring them back. So whether it is Parikshit Maharaj getting thirsty, causing his departure, or the Pandavas getting thirsty, causing their departure, or the boys in this pastime, the cows in this pastime getting thirsty and causing their departure, Srila Prabhupada in one purport quotes Vidyapati, the great poet, to say that this material world is a place of insatiable thirst. We are all thirsty. But as the soul, we are thirsty for Krishna. But like these cows, when we go away from our Lord and we become greedy to eat the grass and drink the water of this world, we don't realize that we become spiritually dead. And all of this happens when we are away from our Guru's instructions, Baladev's absence. On the other hand, if we have spiritual thirst, tatra laulyam api mulyam ekalam koti janmasu krutirna labhyate, the thirst, the greed, the hunger to get Krishna, that is the only quality to get him. And material thirst is the only quality to go away from him. Look at the pastimes where the cows get stuck in the forest fire in the 19th chapter of the 10th canto. The cows get 19th, right, Prabhuji? Forest fire. Where the cows get stuck in the forest fire. How did that happen? Trinalobena gahvaram. The cows left Krishna with the greed to eat more and more and more and more and more green fresh grass. And as they were biting the grass, going away from Krishna, Sripad Sanatan Goswami in his Brihad Vaishnav Toshni Tika commentary to that verse, 10:19:1, he writes, we are like these boys, cowherd boys, and if we let our cow-like senses to go astray in the forest of this world, eating the fresh grass and drinking the fresh water of sense gratification, in no time either we will be poisoned or we will be stuck in a forest fire of distress. Samsara davanala. And then Krishna has to come in and suck that forest fire, or Krishna has to come in and remove this poison. What are we thirsty for is the question. We think we are these bodies and we think these senses are our senses as the way to get and satisfy that thirst. So we try to satisfy that by position, by garlands, by respect, by better cars, better homes, more money. We think the next reel will make me happy. We think the next shot will make me happy. We think the next possible excitement, dopamine kick will make me happy. We think the next relationship will make me happy. We think the next best friend will make me happy. They are all superficial ointments, cream for an undergoing problem. You can't satisfy a hungry belly by sticking sandwiches to it. If the belly is hungry, you can't stick sandwiches and satisfy it. And that's what we do with gadgets and relations and positions. That's what the cows are doing with drinking this water. Going away from Krishna, how can you satisfy your thirst with any water of this world? Srila Prabhupada very beautifully in this section, this is a transcript of Srila Prabhupada's class that Srila Prabhupada gave on 7th of October 1966 in 22nd Avenue, where we were just there about 2 weeks ago. Prabhupada gave this talk there. And look at what Prabhupada writes. Please let us attentively hear. If anyone voluntarily or understanding his miserable life, if he surrenders unto Krishna, please repeat after me. My dear Krishna, I forgot you for so many lives. Now I understand that you are my father. You are my protector. I surrender unto you. These are words of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada writes, just like a lost child goes to the father, my dear father, it was my misunderstanding that I went away from your protection, but I have suffered. Now I come to you. The father embraces. My dear boy, you come on. I was so much anxious for you all the days. Oh, it is happy that you have come back. The father is so kind. So we are in the same position. Like those cows, like those boys. Sri Jiva Goswami Pad in his commentary has asked a question. These cows are eternal. These boys are eternal. They are eternal, spiritual, transcendental forms. How did they die? How did this happen? Sri Jiva Goswami Pad writes, Khalanam utkalanaya asambhavam api sambhavayati. Sri Jiva Goswami explains that Yoga Maya Shakti makes the impossible into possible if that is in line with Krishna's desire. So Krishna wanted to kick Kāliya out long, long ago. But what was the only problem? The Nagapatnis. They were pure devotees. And they were comfortable. The wives of Kāliya were pure devotees. So that also gives us a lesson. Even if we are Kāliyas, just make sure that your spouse chants Hare Krishna. I have never seen the Prabhu smile and beam with joy. We all have hope. Kāliya was connected to the Nagapatnis. The Nagapatnis were pure devotees. Kāliya got mercy. Amogha was related to Sri Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was a pure devotee. Amogha got mercy. So we have to be a bhakta, but if not bhakta, bhakta jana. We could be the devotee of the devotee, or we could be related to that devotee. We'll have mercy. We also have to, not that we remain Kāliya, but please preach. Inspire everybody in the house to chant. So that was the only curtain for Krishna. Krishna wanted to kick Kāliya out, but what to do? Nagapatnis are there. You can't throw the baby with the bath water. Because if you ask Kāliya to leave, you have to ask Nagapatnis to leave, and Krishna didn't have the heart to ask pure devotees like Nagapatni to leave Brajmandal, to leave Yamuna. So what to do? This is how, by Krishna's soft heart, Kāliya continued to overstay. But now, Yoga Maya Shakti intervened Khalanam Utkalanaya to kick Kāliya out. Asambhavam api sambhavayati. Yoga Maya Shakti made the impossible possible. Transcendental bodies are falling unconscious, dying. Why? Now Krishna can use this as an excuse. That Kāliya, now you have started coming close to my friends and my calves and my boys. Now I don't let you stay here. Out. So it was a reason, it was an impetus to give Krishna, look, now go on. Yoga Maya Shakti, the Leela Shakti was empowering. But what happened? Sri Jiva Goswami Pad writes, when Krishna saw, after his Vanashobhekshanayatam, when Krishna returned, another angle I would like to present. Chapter 15 talks about Dhenukasura's departure, deliverance. Chapter 16 talks about Kāliya's departure. Our acharyas, quoting from Sri Harivansh Puran and from Padma Puran, they mention that actually Kāliya's pastime took place first and then Dhenukasura's pastime took place later. Interesting. Chapter 16 happened before chapter 15. Why and how? Sri Jiva Goswami, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, they write, Dhenukasura's pastime, quite interesting. The start of the 15th chapter, it starts off with Gopashtami. It is the Kartik Shukla Ashtami, where Krishna became, from Vatsapal, he became Gopal. That is a Kartik Leela. But Dhenukasura's departure happened when the tal fruits were ripe. Tal fruits are ripe not in the Kartik month, but in the Bhadrapad month. Shravan, Bhadrapad, Ashwin, Kartik. So, Krishna became Gopal in the 4th month. But Dhenukasura's Leela took place in the 2nd month, which means it was not on the same day. Shukdev Goswami, in the chapter 15, he says, Krishna was allowed to go into the forest and then he killed Dhenukasura. But that didn't happen on the same day. Shukdev Goswami was clubbing it together to move on with the pastimes, and also because of his attraction to the description of Dhenukasura, he clubbed it with the same Leela. So in that, towards the end of that pastime, you see when Krishna returns after killing Dhenukasura, he is exchanging glances with the gopis. Right? But in Kāliya Leela, when Krishna danced on the hoods, that was the first time of Purva Rag, where Krishna saw Srimati Radharani for the first time. So Kāliya's Leela took place first, where Krishna saw Srimati Radharani, and then Dhenukasura's Leela took place later, when Krishna was returning back to the village, and in Kaishor Avastha, he was shooting arrows of glance in Vrindavan. So therefore, in Kāliya Leela, when I say Vanashobha, it refers to the beauty of the forest only. It is not Radharani. Because the eye-to-eye union of Radha and Krishna took place when Krishna danced on the hoods of Kāliya. Therefore, Kāliya was rescued. Krishna wanted to perform pastimes by which the news will go to Barsana. He wants to do something in Braj Mandal so that the news will go to Brishabhanu Maharaj that Nanda Maharaj's son is in pain. We all have to go. We have to help him. And Brishabhanu Maharaj, Kirtida Devi, and Sridham, and Ananga Manjari, Radharani, they would all come. So mainly Krishna was wrapped up in the coils of Kāliya because he wanted quality audience to come and witness the dance performance. So therefore, because Kāliya became the stage, he is the only demon who was subdued and not killed. How amazing. So if we become like Kāliya, bringing Radha and Krishna together in the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, however wicked we may be, we will be forgiven. We could be like Kāliya, very wicked and very envious. But if we are bringing Radha and Krishna together like Kāliya did, on the slippery, moving, coiled, cupped hoods of our tongue, we dance Krishna's holy name there with Radharani's name as the Mahamantra, then we will be forgiven. So here, when Krishna saw the beauty of the forest, not Radharani, because that happens later, Vanashobha, after Krishna returned and he saw his cows and calves and boys all dead, Sri Jeev Goswami Pad writes, Krishna started to cry because he doesn't know he is Bhagavan. Please know that the Yoga Maya Shakti is doing everything and putting curtains. Maya Javanika Channam. Yoga Maya Javanika Channam. Krishna is covered by Yoga Maya. He doesn't know he is Bhagavan. You ask him, who are you? His ID card says Nandanandan. Yashoda Dulal. That's what his ID card says. So Krishna comes and sees this and he starts to weep so loudly. Krishna is wailing and weeping and crying. What happened to my calves? What happened to my cows? What happened to my friends? And in Sri Jeev Goswami's words, Krishna says, Ya gava khalu devata vrajasatam asmakam uchchaistaram Ye balascha sadaiva jivatulitas Te mi vipanna pura Hahanta swayamasmitat sahacharaha Kim bhrataram mataram Tatam sarvajanascha vachmi mamadhek Chapalyata sahasam. Krishna is thinking, Ya Gava, these cows who are Devata Vrajasadam, these cows are worshipable. They are reverential for all the Brajbasis and especially Asmakam Uchchaistaram. We being Vaishyas, we being Gopas, cows are even more glorious for us. And what have I done? Ye Bala and all these boys, Sadaiva Jiva Tulita, they are our life in Vrindavan. Sridham, Sudam, Vasudam, Subal, Kinkini, Stoka Krishna, Ujjwal, Arjun, Mandali, Badram, Madhumangal, they are all our lives. And they are all dead, helplessly poisoned in my presence. Krishna is thinking, Ha hanta swayam asmitat sahachara. I am the only friend alive. And I am seeing all dead bodies around me. Kim bhrataram mataram tatam sarvajanascha vachmi. What will I now go and say? Vachmi, bhrataram to their brothers, mataram to their mothers, tatam to their fathers and grandfathers. What will I tell them? What will I tell all the Brajbasis? Where are their children? What will I tell them? Where are their cows and calves? Mamadhik, alas, alas, fie on me, fie on me. Chapalyata sahasam. I was being restless. I was being over brave in trying to pull all my friends and cows and calves forcibly on the banks of this pond. Yashoda Rani said not to go. Balaram said not to go. Subal relayed the message, whispered the message to me not to go, but I disobeyed all of them and I did this. Mamadhik, this is all my mistake. Chapalyata sahasam, I have been over brave, I have been over restless, I am the cause of all this suffering. Krishna, it's described, he puts his hand on his forehead according to the acharyas and he sits there weeping, crying loudly. What will I do now, my dear Lord? What will I do now? What will Gopal do? This is what acharyas feel when they see us in this world. When pure Vaishnavas come in this world and they see us poisoned by the water of sense gratificatory desire, fallen dead, asleep in this world, the acharyas are weeping like how Krishna is weeping. And the acharyas do what Krishna is about to do. What is that? Revive all of us. Janasya krishnat vimukhasya daivat adharmashilassu dukkhitasya anugrahaye charanti nunam bhutani bhavyani janardhanasya. Pure Vaishnavas walk in this world and when they see us spiritually asleep, they walk around doing kirtan. Jiva jago, jiva jago, Gaura Chandra bole. Jiva jago, jiva jago, Gaura Chandra. Ta kitik da din da ta kitik da tik tik da. Jiva jago, jiva jago, Gaura Chandra bole. Jiva jago. कोठा निद्र जाओ माया पिशाची को ले कोठा निद्र. Mahaprabhu himself, when he comes as a sadhu in this world, as an acharya, he's waking all of us up. Afternoon time when we have class, we have to sing bhajans like this. So it was strategic bhajan at the right time. I did see some jivas woke up. When we sleep in the lap of Maya, Krishna sends acharyas to wake us up. And sometimes when we are sleeping, Krishna himself comes to wake us up. We can see the pastime of Muchukunda Maharaj. Prarthitam prachuram purvam. Krishna wakes Muchukunda. Muchukunda Maharaj, a pure devotee, sleeps in the cave. That happens with us also. We perform bhakti in one phase of our life. And then the next phase of our life, we go stagnant. We are like sleeping like Muchukunda. But we should have hope. Even if a Vaishnava like Muchukunda Maharaj serves Krishna and sleeps through 3 yugas forgetting the Lord comes and wakes him up. Because the Lord doesn't forget what his devotee has done. So even if we slacken a bit in bhakti, we should pull our socks and continue. We have hope. Vaishnavas, when they walk in this world, they have so much compassion. Srila Prabhupada, in one class, he was explaining the story of Ashwathama, how he mercilessly killed the 5 sleeping sons of Draupadi. And when he was caught, Bhim said, give him to me. Just give him to me. Because Arjuna caught him. And Draupadi said, let him go. Bhima said, yes, let him go and let him come to me. And Draupadi said, no, let him go. How could you let Ashwathama go? He has killed your children. Draupadi said, I as the mother, I know what I feel when I lose my children. I don't want his mother to feel what I have felt by killing him. Let him go. Prabhupada said this story very quickly to say Vaishnavas are very compassionate. Can you imagine Krishna, the source of all compassion? He's looking at his boys and cows and calves poisoned on the banks of the ocean, pond of Kāliya's ocean-like pond. And there, Sri Kavi Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad writes, Krishna glanced so mercifully. Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad describes Krishna's eyes with which he glanced over his boys. Do we want to hear the beauty of Krishna's eyes? Let's sing. Atyayate suvipule masrine sushone susnigdha pina ghana chanchala pakshma ramye tarunya sara madhagu srina manthare cha netre harer mama ridhi spuratam sadate. When you learn something from your guru, you're supposed to offer it as dakshina back. Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Krishna glanced with his eyes, and how are Krishna's eyes? Atyayate su vipule masrine su shone. So beautiful. Atyayate. Atyayate, which means Krishna's eyes are wide when they open. Sometimes, when we talk, we are, yes, Prabhuji. The other devotee will say, you go and take rest. Seems like you're very tired. But when Krishna talks, it's not like that. He's lit up. You can see as Jagannath. So Atyayate means widely blossomed lotus flowers. And not small. So wide this way and widthwise suvipule. They go kissing his ears. So his eyes go in the length and in the breadth. Wide and long. And masrine sushone. Sushone, they're reddish. And masrine, very loving. And susnigdha, always moist. Krishna's eyes are always moist with affection. They are reddish on the edge, white within, and black in the center. Always moist and wet, and wide and long and loving. And pina ghana chanchala pakshma ramye. Pina means big, ghana means black, chanchala means restless. The pupils, the black eyes of Krishna are big, black, and restless. Sri Surdas Ji, in one poetry, he writes, when Bal Gopal was sitting on the lap of Mother Yashoda, and he was feeling asleep, his eyes were closing. Sri Netrahin Surdas Ji writes, Krishna's eyelids were like lotus petals, and inside the black pupil were like bumblebees stuck, intoxicated within those lotus flowers as the petals close with sunset. So Krishna is closing his eyes, and it's like two black bumblebees stuck in the lotus petals of his eyelids. Who can believe that Surdas Ji was Netrahin? He gave vision which nobody else gave. What are we seeing? Nothing. We are blind. They are the givers of vision. And Pakshma Ramye, his eyelashes, it's thick, long, black, glossy. Krishna's eyes, his eyelids, the shape, the size, the mood, and the eyelashes. But Krishna, it's so beautiful, naturally curling. Pakshma Ramye. And Tarunya Sara Mada Ghusrana Mantharecha. His eyes are rolling with the passion of his leelas. Rolling with love, enthusiasm, curiosity to perform more and more leelas. Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad says, Netre. Netre means two eyes. Netram, netre. Mama Ridhi. In my heart, O Krishna, Harer Netram, your eyes, Spuratam Sadate. My only prayer is, Krishna, may your ever blinking lotus petal eyes, may they manifest in the Vrindavan forest of my heart. This is my only desire. So with these eyes, Sri Melpattur Narayana Bhattadri writes, Piyushambho Varshibhi Shri Katakshahi. When you talk about lotus, there must be nectar in the world. So Krishna's eyes are lotus petals and his glance is the nectar. Amrita Varshini. How did Krishna create the world? Sa Aikshata, he glanced. How does Krishna maintain this world? Yat Chakshuresha Savita Sakala Grahanam Raja. The sun and moon glance. How does Krishna destroy poison? Kāliya's poison? He glanced. How did Krishna revive all his boys here? He glanced. How did Krishna revive all the boys in the body of Aghasur? He glanced. Power of Krishna's glancing. We may be poisoned in this material world with material desires. Standing in front of Radha Golokananda, we have to tell them, my dear Lord, I am spiritually dead. I can't see you. You glance on me. Your glance has the power to revive my spiritual life. So therefore in Vedic culture they say when you go to a temple, don't leave immediately. Sit there for 5 minutes. Why? So that Krishna glances. I remember one time when my Guru Maharaj, who was on a wheelchair, he went to Guruvayur. He had darshan of Guruvayurappan. And very quickly he had darshan, he was ushered out because of the queue. And when he came out, he shed tears. And he said, I came all the way, but I could not see Krishna closely. Because in Kerala, in Guruvayur, Chandana Kapu Darshan is very special. When you see Krishna covered with Chandan. Those who are Malayalis, they know. It's very dear. Some love Guruvayur so much that now is when they woke up actually in class. Did he say Kerala? So Guru Maharaj said, I came all the way, I could not see Chandanakapa darshan of Krishna so closely. But then he said, no problem. I didn't see him, he saw me. That's all that matters. Krishna's glancing has the power. Pashyanti te me ruchiranyam basantaha prasanna vaktra runalochanani rupani divyani varapradani sakham vacham sprhaniyam vadanti. Bhagavatam. When we go and stand in front of Krishna, glance at him and offer prayers, he glances at us. And that's how we become recipient of his mercy. Darshanam no didrikshunam dehi bhagavatarchitam. Rupam priyatamam swanam sarvendriya gunanjanam. We glance at him, we see him see us. That is darshan. We go to a doctor and we say, did you see the doctor? What does that mean? Does it mean, did you go see the doctor, perform a surgery on him? No. Did you go see a doctor means, did you go let the doctor see you? So similarly, did you see Krishna means, did you stand enough in front of him so that you give him time to see you? So by Krishna's glance, he revived everyone. Srila Jiva Goswami, so beautifully he writes, he said, Krishna went to each boy and he was weeping because he saw that their ornaments and their clothes were scattered. Because when each boy drank the water, there was some shivers in his body and he fell. And some ornaments and some clothing were disheveled and scattered. Sri Jiva Goswami Pad writes, Krishna went to each boy and he put the clothes and the ornaments in place, embraced the boy with his name and wept. And just like the water of Kāliya poisoned the boy, the water of Krishna's tear woke the child back. It was one tear, it was one water droplet which poisoned, and it was one water droplet which revived. And Krishna revived each boy, starting with the boys and then the cows. And when he revived the cows were in ecstasy. One after another, the cows started looking around. They were so happy. It is described. Gavo hunkriti ghoshana valayita. Krishnam lihantyaschirat. Tad bahudvaya veshtanena vilasat. Kanthya samutkanthita. Yatnatyajita tadgrahascha pashupai. Kshiptascha tasthuschiram. Tastad vaktra sudhakara dyuti sudha. Pitavatripte kshana. The cows came closer and closer to Krishna and hunkriti goshana. They were out of so much love they were expressing to Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, we fell asleep. We saw a dream. They are trying to talk to Krishna and Krishna can understand. Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami has written, Gopal angana kardame biharase bipradhvare lajjase brushe goshata hunkrute stuti shatair maunam vidatse satam. Dasyam Gokula Sundari Shukurushe Swamyam na Dantatmasu Nyatam Krishna Tavangri Pankaja Yugam Premaiva Labhyapara. To the commentary to Sri Bilvamangal Thakur's Krishna Karanamrit. Gopal Bhatta Goswami writes, Krishna Brushe Goshata Hunkrute. The cows say one word and you sit next to them. And Shata, now you speak 100 words to them. They are just doing one hunkriti. And Krishna sits next to them. What happened? You feeling hot? Should I put some cold water on you? Do you want to bathe in the Yamuna? Oh, the rope is too tight on the neck. The insects are troubling you. The tail is not reaching to the back. Are you thirsty? Do you want to play with us? Do you want me to sit here? And then he's talking to the cow and the cow is also showing. And Krishna is massaging, caressing and embracing the cow with one Krishna is surrendered. Gopal. So, Gavo hunkriti ghoshana and valayita, and they all surround Krishna. In our language, the bangle is called valai because it goes in circle. So, to encircle, valayita, Sanskrit, means that which goes around like a bangle. The cows went around Krishna in circles. They were talking to Krishna, looking at Krishna. And not just that, lihantyaschirat. For a long time they started licking Krishna. So Krishna is standing, all the cows are licking. Some are licking his feet, some are licking his hands, some are licking his face, some are licking his neck, some are licking his chest. Krishna is being licked by all these cows. And chirat for a long, long time. They won't let him go. And tad bahudvaya veshtanena vilasat kanthas samutkanthita. Samutkanthita. Samutkanthita means eagerness. But samutkanthita also means to push your neck upwards. Samutkanthita. Either eagerness of the heart or pushing your neck up. So the cows, with the eagerness of their heart, were pushing their necks up and locking their necks between Krishna's arms. Like you see there. Like Krishna would be standing like this, talking to the cows, and the cows would put their head from here. And they would rest. How beautiful. I am not making anything up. It's Shastra. Acharya Tika. Tad bahudvaya. Bahudvaya means two hands. Krishna is holding like this. Hey cows, what happened? What are you doing? And as he has his form as Vitthala, Panduranga, the cows are putting their head and locking their kantha with their utkantha around Krishna's arms. What play, Jiva Goswami Pada. What play. And yatna tyajita tad grahascha pashupai. The boys wake up by now. And they're stunned. Because the effect of the poison has been such that the boys are spaced out. For a long time they're standing in front of Krishna. They feel joyful in seeing him. And at the same time, they feel so much sorrow in not being able to see him for a few seconds. Their eyes are full of tears in meeting him in joy, at the same time in sorrow in separation from him. At the same time, their bodies are horripilating, either with the effect of the poison in the body or with the poison of separation from Krishna. The boys are stunned and they ask themselves, am I happy or am I sad? And they're not able to speak. By then these cows have taken over Gopal. They're speaking, and they're licking and they're dancing, circling, and they're locking their heads between Krishna's arms. Yatna tyajati tadgrahas. The boys have to pull one cow after another. Okay, enough now. Leave Gopal. Chirat, you've been licking him for a long time. Okay, chalo, now we also need him. Yatnat, with effort, tyajita tadgrahas. Each boy is holding one cow by the tail and says, chalo, enough. Chalo, come back. Hey, enough. Hey, chop. Hey, chop. Hey. And the more the cow is pulled, the more the cow wants to go. Because this is the nature of love. More obstruction to find Krishna, more is the enthusiasm to find him. And this goes on for a long time. Chiram. You see the word chiram and chirat. First line, third line. Ending words. The cows have taken over Gopal. So therefore, if we want to go back home, back to Godhead, we have to do Go Seva. We have to protect the cows. We have to please the cows. Because when they recommend, when they lick your palm, we are one step away. We have entered the game of divine, transcendental licking. Where the cows are licking and giving us mercy. Pashupai kshiptascha tashchus chiram. Finally, when the boys pull the cows say, okay. And they stand at a distance. They come out in the outer circle, the boys go in the inner circle, and the cows are at a distance now looking at Krishna. And tas tad vaktra sudhakara dyuti sudha pita avatripta ikshanaha. Jiva Goswami Pad says Krishna's face is a full moon. And where there is moon, there must be somaras. So Krishna's face is full moon. And his nectar, his sweetness, his beauty, dripping somaras is what the cows are drinking with pots of their eyes from a distance with dripping tears. Krishna, we want you. Please don't ever leave us alone like this. The boys and the cows have no idea what's happening. But all that they know is they're feeling so much separation, don't know why. But the good thing is Krishna has woken all of them up. And now Krishna thinks, these cows and these boys have gone through poison. This is first and last time this is going to happen to my family. Thinking like this, Krishna decides to oust Kāliya out of the pond of Kalindi. And that we will see tomorrow morning. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande